Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Rendezvous with Nandita. This time we have with us a lady from the finance sector. Only 15% of women in the finance sector have reached where she has, and she is one of them. She has been featured in 40 Under 40. She is been given many awards. Four times she has been given the Mr. Uday Kotak Award for as corporate excellence. She has been amongst the top 100 women in finance. She is also a girl from a small town of Jaipur who has made it big in the finance capital of this country, Mumbai. I would like to welcome today Munmun Desai with us today. Hi, Munmun.
Thank you, Nandita. Thank you so much for your introduction.
So, Munmun, itne sare awards, itne sare, I was reading your profile and it just didn't end with the kind of, successes that you've had, with the kind of awards that you've won for yourself, with the kind of, the state you've reached at such a young age. And I'm not going to disclose your age. Trust me, when we say 40 under 40, it means you're under 40 for sure. But not anything beyond that. So, congratulations for all your achievements and daring to walk on that glass ceiling.
Thank you. Thank you. Nandita, what you rightly mentioned and pointed out that, of course, coming from beautiful pink city, Jaipur, to city of dreams, it is not easy. It's never been easy to leave your protective, pampered environment and to come and struggle all alone in a city which is as big as Mumbai. But let me tell you, and I meet a lot of people, and I always tell this thing, and I was talking to you also on the same thing. People from smaller town, they're always more driven. And you know why? So I'm sitting in Bombay, my husband is a typical Mumbaiker, but I always mention this. When you leave your comfort zone, you are out there to prove because you have left your house, you have come to Mumbai. Then also, if you're mediocre, there's no point to leave all the comfort. So when I came 2004 to do my MBA, I did my management from NL Dalmia Institute, and that time it was not the top college of the country. Having said that, the most important thing जो मुझे लगता है कि अगर आप किसी भी कॉलेज में हो, किसी भी स्कूल में हो, कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हो, अगर आप उसके टॉप टियर में आते हो, if you're the top tier or top few people of that organization, you can fight with anybody in the world. You can fight with the best minds in the country. So I think that was my pushing factor. And in fact, मेरे ऑफिस के डेस्कटॉप पे भी लिखा हुआ है push yourself as no one else will. So I strongly believe in that.
Okay, so I'm going to start. You said you came from the pink city of Jaipur. When you said that and you said you have to prove yourself in a bigger town, the song that I was reminded of, Bunty and Bubbly ka ek gana tha, छोटे छोटे शहरों से, right? खाली भोर दोपहरों से हम तो झोला उठा के चले. So what made you leave the comforts of your home? And I'm sure, home is always comfortable, no matter what it is, small town, culture, connect with people. What made you leave all that and come to Mahanagri, Mumbai?
Actually, I'm the second child, so we are three siblings. My elder sister and my family is a family of artists. So they are TV professionals, radio professionals. Finance was frankly a very odd choice. And coming to Mumbai, my father was paranoid, and I still remember when he came to drop me because my mom came for my admission, and he said, "I don't think Munmun can survive because I have never actually stepped out of my house alone when I was in Jaipur. I was so bad. I always used to be surrounded with my family members, and coming here, the whole idea that I wanted to come is तभी सभी लोग ही management कर रहे थे. When in 2004 when I did my management, every other person wanted to do management, but I wanted to do management from a place where the career opportunities will be huge. And of course, Mumbai being a financial capital of the country, I wanted to do it from Mumbai, and hence I was fixated that I'll do it from here. It was a tough decision that point of time, but if you have taken the decision, you better live up to it. So I wanted to prove them right that they have gone against everybody saying, girl child, don't send her alone, Mumbai being a bad city, but touch wood. So far, things have been very encouraging for me personally.
So what made you choose finance? Like you said, you come from a family of artists, right? So the obvious choice would have been to join arts or take up into production or obviously set films or whatever. What made you choose the difficult subject of art? And typically, I'm sure even when you started off, there were not so many women in finance. It was not
Yes.
the most sought after field like in HR, which is there. So, what made you do that?
So I think one important point here that you should always have a good mentor. And
Okay. Yeah.
also, I'm an economics graduate from
Mhm.
Jaipur University, and in fact, like you said, I wanted to pursue marketing. I indeed did my internship also with advertising firm, thinking I'll make my career in advertising. But
Okay.
in the campus placement started happening, my mentor guided me, and he said that Munmun, it is very, very simple. The decision is whether you want to be a small fish in a big pond or you want to be a big fish in a small pond. And
Okay.
I think that has been stayed with me for 14, 15 years. I always thank my mentor. And when Batliwala and Karani Securities came for a campus placement, I was the only marketing student. Everybody else being a finance, because it's a financial firm. And I joined, and in 2 months, I was thinking, oh God, what I have done, these numbers, stock market. I was literally clueless. But
Okay.
what helped me was, whatever opportunity is thrown to you. And I think this I pick up from my mother, whatever opportunity is thrown to you, give your 100%. Give
Okay.
your best and keep doing it. Within a year or two, I started liking the field, meeting new people, learning every day something new. And I've stayed with the company for 14 years. And from a campus placement to here, when I hated the subject, to an industry, I really love it.
So, your industry is not known for being nice to women. What was your journey like? No, because somewhere I don't know. There is a mindset block still in, I won't say a big city like Mumbai, but a lot of other cities. When I think of investments, when I think of, somebody taking care of my money, when it always somewhere, because it's always men. In fact, there was a research done by Paytm recently, which, when they did a social experiment to see how much women are confident about finances, their own finances, leave alone handling others' finances, they saw a huge gender difference there in terms of they started asking general questions and everybody started taking a step forward. And when they said, when they started asking questions regarding finance, they said every time you don't do something, take a step backward. They could see at the end of those questions there's a difference. All the men were in front, which means that they were confident about finance, or they pretended to be confident about finance. They were taking their own financial decisions and deciding for others also, of course. But women was way behind. So how has your experience been in this industry?
Is considered to be a male
True.
or rather there were very few women and like I have been when I was being recognized as top 10 women leaders in finance, I was doing they were doing some research which says that there are a lot of women at the entry level, but there are
Yeah,
very
true.
few who break it and go to the middle management, and for the top management it just actually it's a lonely ride. Having said that, yes, there has always been discriminations which has been there when you're starting the journey, and you are just not a pretty face. So you have to constantly keep saying, keep putting that there is a value. You have to look beyond the face, and there is a value in the boardroom. There's a value when you're sitting in front of an investor. And I think if
Okay.
you continue to do that,
Hmm.
you will build the respect. You will build the respect from your team, from your investors, from the markets, from your peers. So you have to just
Wow.
constantly strive to add value.
That's a beautiful thing that you've said, Munmun. You said you have to look beyond the face value. And I think a lot of people just get caught into that whole world of, okay, a pretty face, don't know whether she knows her stuff or not. Okay. So there is a concept of beauty with brains, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Going forward, I would like you to go about and tell what has been your personal journey when it comes to, what was some of the challenges that you had. And when I say challenges, I'm not saying in terms of, some rags to riches kind of stories, but certain things that you found difficult, and how did you overcome them, and what were your key learnings from there? So the whole, it's a very rounded question if you ask me.
Yeah, actually. I was mentioning that whenever you have these questions which talk about your challenges and failures, I always associate most of the people ask to women leaders. Though you mentioned that this is gender neutral, but These are the most common questions being asked, to women leaders more. And having said that, when I look back, there have been challenges, right from small town to a city like Mumbai, from finding a place to live to traveling in a train to meeting an investor, adding value to. There are very small things, but at that point of time, you may not realize them as a challenge because you think that's a part of a journey. And I think it is in your mind. Looking back, I may think that it was a challenge that I wasn't able to, travel that well in a train or find a house or meet an investor and give him the confidence. But all these situations, they always throw you choices. So either you make that situation as a crisis, or you make the situation as an opportunity. That time you may not realize it was a challenge. I'll give you a very classic example, and it is associated with our industry. It's been a decade though. In the year 2010, there was a major regulatory setback which came in our industry or the business. It could be a massive failure for me as an individual because we have built the business from scratch. But we as a team took that regulatory challenge setback as an opportunity, came together, invested in research, processes, system, work harder than ever before. And let me tell you, Nandita, in 10 years today, because of what the challenge that thrown to us that time, we have come out as a leader in corporate advisory. Most of the peers were wiped out because that was a very, very difficult regulatory angle to our business. So as a team, if you are coming together, investing and using the challenge as an opportunity, that's a choice that you have to make.
Beautiful. You need to make choices at every point. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful learning that you've sent across. We always have choices with us. What we do with them ultimately determines where we are. Beautiful. So I have a question, and I'm going off the questions that I have with me, wherein we have Lata, who is again a lady who is breaking the glass ceiling in her respective industry, in the field of HR, of course, asking a question: what is your message on financial investments to employed women? I think there comes the finance expert giving her advice now.
Financial investment
or employed women. Any tips you would like to give before we start on your journey? Yeah.
Okay, so the simple thing that I tell everybody, and like I said, my family who is completely into non-finance world, they also don't understand anything about finance. So I tell them simple thing: be independent, keep control of your money, take in charge of yourself. So for if you're an employed person, you have your own salary, start saving it. And when you have a saving, you become much more confident, you become much more independent. So for anybody, be it women or men or anybody who starts their career, I think you should learn to save. That's my advice to everyone.
That's interesting one. So Munmun, my question to you would be, you are one of the few women who's walked on that glass ceiling, okay? And you said it had been a lonely journey. There were discriminations, but you had choices you made. Any particular incident or story that you would like to share, which would help our women who are watching us, and of course, men are also watching us, take inspiration? Because a lot of times while we are working in corporate, and I have worked in corporate, there's a notion there is a glass ceiling. You cannot go beyond that. It's not for me. I don't know. My family doesn't support. My dad doesn't support. My husband doesn't. And we have a list of excuses. Some of them genuine, yes, but some of them we make up. So what has been your experience, and any one incident that you would like to share which helped you shatter that for yourself?
Okay, so generalize also, as a women, you give lot of importance to emotional support.
Okay.
And you do not demand. So both personal, professional life, it may not be relevant to me, but I think in some way or the other I can connect it to it as well, that we give importance to all the other things other than what you think you deserve. So as a women leader or as an employee, you should demand what you think you deserve. Don't shy back, or don't think that if you demand for it, people will take it negatively. So I have done it.
Okay, that brings me to another question. You said you demand for it, and how important, and I'm asking more women-centric question here, is the support of your spouse, your family, or your, the support system that you create to be able to reach the top. Because we were just discussing a few minutes back that fortunately, we have had families who supported us. But how
Yes.
important is it, is a question I have for you. And how have you developed or worked on it to ensure that it gives you the right push when you need it?
So, Nandita, I have a 9-year-old daughter. I have been working with the company for now almost 15 years. And I have never missed anything, any of the celebration of my daughter. And I think I want to have it all. It says, and I have read so many women that you cannot have it all, but I want to have it all because it's one life, right? So,
True.
so what is needed for that is you need to have an extended support system. So, like I said, my family, in a family, you need to have a strong women to give you that push when you are a kid, which was my mother, my sister. I'm very fortunate to have the same strong support from my mother-in-law, who has managed everything right from house to my kid, to give that push again to me to go out. But more than that, the team that I've been working, the core team is with us for over a decade. So
Wow.
we all work like as an extended family to each other. And there have been instances when the team has gone out of their way so that I can go and attend my daughter's any event or something. So having a strong, of course, you really need a strong partner who is always there at your back, which fortunately is my partner for 16 years. I've known him, and it's a love marriage. So I that is
I
given,
get
that
that.
is granted. But but having external support system right from your office, team to your house team to your mates, you really need that entire bubble so that you can just go out and fly in the sky. Fortunate to have that.
So, Munwan, I would like to extend what you said. This bubble or this support system, which gives you a push when needed. It could be your in laws, it could be your parents, it could be your spouse, your kids, your team, like you said very beautifully, who stand for you and by you, is not only needed for women, according to me. Men also need it to be successful. To say that, they don't need it, only women need all the support in the world. Personally, I would not like to agree. So, to the support system that Munmun is talking about, according to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Munmun, is a support system that you put efforts in to create so that you can get the push that you want. And it's an investment that you're doing in relationships so that you can leverage on them, not use them, I'll use the word leverage on them as and when required. So, what are your views on that?
It's a two-way thing. So it's a two-way thing. So like I have a like my partner, my husband, who's always there, with me whenever I need that support. In my office, my co-head, who has been with me for almost 14 years, you said it's a two-way thing. We are like a family, an extended family. So
True.
if we've always been helped each other to grow, so you need those sounding board.
You
It is very, very lonely. You need sounding board for work. Obviously, I can't keep cribbing about my work to my husband. So there is obviously a separate lining, but of course I can keep discussing about work to my colleague. So you really need the sounding boards. So my suggestion to everybody is find somebody who can, listen to you, because listening itself is very, very important.
So, what has been your most difficult phase in life where you found that you wanted somebody and they were not there? Did you ever have that situation? And we always have, not in terms of do or die, but any situation where you wanted a sounding board, a mentor, a guide. It could be in the form of anybody. It could have even been your parents as mentors or guides, but you never had anybody. Have you had that situation?
नो, आई वुड नॉट से लाइक दैट, उसके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है नंदिता, कि एक साउंडिंग बोर्ड मत रखो. यू शुड हैव मल्टीपल. So if you have a challenge with your husband, you have your sister who can be a sounding board. If you have a challenge with your office people, you have your husband issues. So, you have to have multiple sounding boards rather than
Okay.
depending on one person is always the challenge.
So I loved what you said, and this is a personal takeaway for me, Munmun. Have multiple sounding boards so that you're never, never in a situation where you are lost in life. I think I have that problem. I normally have one sounding board which I pour my heart to, share my problems, not always expect solutions, but yeah, somebody to crib at times, like you said. So yes, I love that advice, and I'll personally take it. I have multiple sounding boards. So here, that comes from under 40 lady who has taken it all and has been extremely successful in her career. Munmun, I have another question related to branding, because we are talking about branding, and that is what I talk about. What, according to you, has been your core brand value that you brought onto the corporate world?
See, when it comes to money, it's the most difficult trust. Like you rightly said, it's the most difficult trust you put on somebody. You'll not give your money to anybody if you don't trust them, be
I
it
agree.
a small amount or a large amount, right?
Yeah.
When we are managing close to $3.5 billion of asset under management, advising almost 50% of NSE 50 companies, you need to build that trust. You need to build that credibility, and it comes with time and again. You just have to keep investing in that relationship, making sure that you're giving them right advice, and that's where you build that trust. And I
Okay.
think the brand that brand Munmun or brand BNK stands for, in the extended brand, is that you have that credibility built over a decade. And hence, that's the reason today we are the most sought after brand, because investors know that it is their interest first. They can trust us with the money. So
Beautiful. So,
trust.
Munmun, I hear you say, Munmun and BNK, how important is personal branding, your personal brand in your industry? Certain industries, it has to be there, like in the celebrities, the actors, it's their personal brand. In your industry, how important is it to brand your individual self? Of course, organization brand is important, but how important is it to brand your own self?
So like I said, that, individual brands always, when you're meeting for the first time, like we are dealing with international investors today, because of the social media, through LinkedIn, through network references, everybody knows everything about you before you even sit in front of them.
True, very true.
So when you sit in front of them, they've already done their homework. So if you're not known to them, they only know about the company. So your meeting becomes smooth if they have known about you and you have already created a unique qualities about you and a brand, what you call in a social media language, a brand that they can search and they know who they are talking to. So it is important, but let me tell you, unlike a media firm, for a business that we are in, it's more to do with the value that you bring on. You could dress up like very shabby. It doesn't matter if when you're talking sense, they will listen to you. So
Beautiful. So in
yeah.
your industry, you're saying the value that you give to the customer is ultimately important. So are you consciously working on your creating a higher brand value for yourself? Being at the senior leadership position in your organization, being the face of the organization in a lot of forums, and also, like you said, you have international investors, and they do a lot of research on you before they even think of even selecting you for a conversation, leave alone giving you business. So, are you consciously working on your own brand is a question I have. And if yes, how?
Okay, so for the brand, that am I putting any extra effort? The answer could be no. Having said that, you have to be visible. And how
Okay.
do you be visible, especially for a business in a financial market? It has to be through a network when people appreciate your thoughts. You are being recognized as the thoughts that you have or the views that you have on financial market, and time and again it has to prove right, or it has to add value to the people. So I've been very very active on LinkedIn. That's the only media which I use. But
Okay.
more than that, it is also important that in the team everybody individually is creating a brand for them, because it's a very
Beautiful.
people driven business. It is not if
Collective.
Momo is doing excellently well, BNK is going to get business, because I'm not when you are a leader, you have a team who is doing exemplary work, excellent work on the ground. So I cannot be everywhere. So the focus of brand building or the leadership is to have those members in the team who can be a face for your organization, and I think we are beautifully doing that.
Okay, Munmur, I really like the way you are actually taking it to your team. All conversations are moving to your team. When I spoke about support systems, when I talk about branding, you were talking about it being inclusive, it being holistic, it being comprehensive. Uh, this is a trait, according to research. Okay, a lot of research out there, is a very, very women leader centric thought process. So would you agree on that? Because you've done it. I can see it as a part of you. So if I see brand Moon, I would think inclusion as one of the words that come to my mind when I think of you. But is it a conscious effort, or is it something that you value? And is it a very women centric? As you know, a lot of research has been done on this, and they say women are more inclusive as leaders. So what are your comments on that?
Don't you think it makes much more sense? It is always good.
I always believe taking people along makes your task really easy, because if everybody has vision to a particular level, your growth rate is much faster. Your team is competent. You can relax. You can spend time. Yeah. So, but answering my question, what do you think? Is it a more women centric, or do you think even men today are more inclusive and all that? Yeah.
I think it is more individual centric rather than giving it a gender this thing. It's more individual centric.
Very nice. Okay. So you said you're very active on LinkedIn, is what I hear. You give your views and your comments. So how would you actually? So do you write blogs? What is the strategy that you use, if you can share that, to be more visible? Because LinkedIn is again a platform where people do research for professionals, but it's a very underrated platform. A lot of people don't realize it, and a lot of people don't know how to use LinkedIn. So what is your strategy of using LinkedIn?
I think for a professional social media, because through that you have, unlike an Instagram or a Facebook, wherein it's more of a personal connect that you have, it's more of a professional. You reach out to the number of meeting requests that I get every day will turn into hundreds if I'm posting something. So the connection become much more easier. And how do I add value to my own LinkedIn is by putting some research that we have done, or putting some views on the markets which I think can add value to the larger audience, is how I keep my LinkedIn active.
Okay, so coming to one very cliche question, which is always a part of any interview: who has been your inspiration, both at a personal level and at a professional level, and how have they inspired you?
Okay, so okay, this is also a very cliche question, by the way.
That's what I said. It's a very cliche question, and I will ask because it's important to know the people who you look up to when it comes to yeah.
Nandita, I think you would also agree with it. Everybody, be it a male or a female, you grow up by looking up to somebody, and your first inspiration always remains your family. So having seen a very, very strong mother who has taught you to be independent, to take up challenges and don't give up, is, I think, what my mother has been an inspiration for me. And coming into a professional world, obviously you look up to people who have commanded that, who have built something. So I look up to Mr. Deepak Parekh also, because the way he has built the institution, it is a legacy. So it's just not an individual brand. Even if you're not there, an institution is created. So in a financial market, I think I look up to him. But personally, I think it's more to see that women who are strong, independent, and if they can do it, why can't I? So I try and instill the same in my daughter. She is very, very independent, just at 9. So I hope I'll do good justice to her.
I'm sure with a mother like you, your daughter is only going to create more histories and more things. Okay, before I move on to the questions that have been asked, I have a true or false session. Is that okay? Just a true or false, according to you. Yeah? Okay. I'm going to shoot out the questions. You need to let me know whether they're true or false, okay?
Yeah.
Branding is more than marketing. True or false?
True.
Branding takes conscious effort.
True.
People can be fooled by aggressive branding.
True, absolutely true. Absolutely.
Market yourself. Okay, go ahead.
A very good instance. I work with a lot of startup founders, and I was seeing one company and aggressively on the all the social media. And I thought they're doing extremely well, but thinking from whatever they've been printing, and I happen to know the co-founder, and I just met him off this thing, and he said their company is going to shut. And I was surprised, because I thought they are going to be a next unicorn because of the way they have been promoting it. So yes, it is.
Okay.
But you do it.
Okay. Marketing yourself well leads to being a strong and powerful brand. True or false?
True.
Okay. Women are more conscious about their brands.
I'm not very sure. At least I'm not.
Okay. Branding is culturally driven.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to enter the last part of the interview, Munmun,
Hmm.
which is a rapid fire round.
Sure.
Okay. It's about you and you alone. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Three words that define Munmun.
Driven, confident, and very passionate.
One role that Munmun loves to do all the time, or is really
Being,
proud of. Okay, let me put it that way.
being
Sorry?
a mother. Being a mother.
Okay. Uh, the other is if you were to choose between being a mother and being a professional, okay, what would you choose and why?
I don't think I'll be able to make that decision. I have always worked. I remember when Mishri was 3 months old, I started back my work. So
Okay.
I've literally like grown working. So it will be very, very difficult to leave everything and just be at home. And I think it will not do justice to her as well. So I don't think I'll be able to make that choice.
Okay. So those were the questions for your rapid fire. A lot of women today, Mon, are still not very confident when it comes to your sector or even any sector. They,
Hmm.
like you said, the entry level, there's a huge influx of women, and even when I've gone to management colleges to take interviews, I see more women. And as organizations promoting gender equality or inclusiveness, as they call it today, try to hire more women. What is your take on it? Is competence important, or meritocracy important, or you think you being from a particular gender is important?
I think maybe at the entry level, companies may take a conscious decision to hire more women. But
Hmm.
as the career progresses, I think meritocracy always plays a role.
Okay.
And why companies do it with due respect to them is because you have to give an opportunity, an equal opportunity. At most of
Hmm.
the time, people don't get that opportunity, or women don't get that opportunity. So it's a right step in the right direction. You give them an opportunity, let them fly. They'll grow if they
Okay.
have a merit. Yeah, most of
Okay.
the time we have, because in my team there's almost 50% women, and I always tell them that when you leave your kid at home, when you leave your home, the minute you step out, don't be just come to do a time pass, because otherwise you could be at home. So
I
prove
agree.
yourself, make the most out of that 8 hours that you're in office, and I think that's why women are more successful if they are very, very driven.
Beautiful. So one thing, Munmun, that you would like to change about yourself, one thing that you think कि काश बदल सकती.
Hmm? Okay.
Difficult one, right?
But do I want to say it now?
Yes, you need to.
um,
Huh.
oh.
I told you it's not going to be easy. Finance is easier, right?
Yeah, one thing I would like to change could be that, now I'm taking a conscious decision to not, try and see myself in my daughter and let her be. I keep getting the advice from my surrounding system that don't push her, let her be. So I think I'll go easy.
I think I love that honest confession. I think as mothers, we want to at times, because we've achieved something, we want to give the best. And at times we push the children and don't let them be who they are. And we want to see either a reflection of ourselves or not a reflection of us in our children. That's a beautiful, beautiful, honest statement you've made. Thank you so much for that. Um, what one song or quote represents your life the best?
That song from Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. So,
Which one? Would you like to
so
sing? Do you sing?
no.
Okay, tell us the song then. Yeah.
So the song or the word that you're not going to get this life again. So, like I said, as a woman, you should have it all, and don't sacrifice things to progress in any or the to be either best mother or to be best professional. I think you can have it all. You just need to prioritize at different point of time. Different things can be your priority. So, zindagi na milegi dobara. Just live it once.
Beautiful. What is the legacy you want to leave behind, Munmun?
So as a women who have come from a small town and from a family where they haven't gone out. I think I was the first one who came to Mumbai to study. Is somebody who has made a mark for herself is a legacy that I want to leave behind.
Beautiful. So we have Munmun with us today, a lady who has stood her ground, believes in that women can have it all. And it's a very beautiful statement. And I would personally love when she said, different things take priority at different points in time, and you need to, decide what is priority for you. My personal takeaway from the session, Munmun, is have multiple sounding boards, and that this is something I would personally like to take away. Thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your life journey with us. Any parting comments for women who are, still struggling, still wanting to make it big, and still dreaming of walking on that glass ceiling with stilettos?
Okay, it's a very cliche statement, but I have believed in it always. The difference, between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Do that extra in everything that you do, and I think you will walk the path on your own. Just do that little extra. People just take a step back without taking, and you can be extraordinary.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining in. It was a pleasure talking to you, Munmun.
Same here. Pleasure talking to you, Nandita. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. For all our viewers, in case you have questions for Munmun, the recordings will be available. Do type in your questions, and Munmun would be happy to answer them for you on our Facebook page. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a nice weekend, whatever is remaining of it. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Stay safe.